Have you guys ever heard the saying, no one is coming to save you? Well, if you haven't, you're hearing it now. No one is coming to save you. What we've seen over the past 2 weeks is the failure of government to protect your children and to protect you. 19 people were murdered in that school. The police were too scared to go in to save innocent lives, especially children, the most innocent of all. The media will strike it up as it's guns' fault. It's not. It's government's fault. And the people that are running right now as we speak, as I'm making this video, running to the government to demand more gun control, when in fact it was gun control that caused this shit to happen. Seriously, it did. If you've never known, majority of education centers funded by the government are gun-free zones, which is a huge sign for any potential psychopath that just wants to kill people one day. You know, that dude in Buffalo, New York, he targeted that grocery store because it was New York, and he knew that the gun laws were going to be really strict. And the same thing happened with this dude, and the police knew about the dude too, the one in Uvalde. And guess what happened? Just like the last two, the last many actually, they didn't do shit. So I don't want to exploit this like the media, and I'm not. But the point of this video is for me to say, don't rely on the government, people. Never rely on the government to protect you. Never. Because you're going to be disappointed every single time. Every single time. You know, the police are reactive to dangerous incidents and things like that all over the country. They're reactive. In other words, they get there within maybe 2 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. You know how much shit can happen in between that time? If you're not armed yourself, a lot. Like we saw at that school, at that grocery store, and at the other school in Florida, Parkland, wasn't it? And it's sad all around. Personally, me, if I had kids of my own, I would not send them to public school. Do you think the elites, the politicians in D.C. send their kids to public school? Fuck no. They send them to private school. Yeah, I know private school is more expensive, but I mean, if that was the case, I would just homeschool. But I digress. It's a different subject. Listen, the Second Amendment was put in place specifically for this reason. Do you think the founding fathers, James Madison, intended for the government to provide all-around protection for the citizens? No, that's why they put the Second Amendment there in the first place. As a matter of fact, the founding fathers didn't even want a standing army to begin with. Yet we have that. They feared it being used against its own citizens, a standing army. I guess not that many people know that. I mean, people in my circle of, I guess, politics. It's unfortunate it's come to the Bill of Rights being political when really it shouldn't be. That should be a no negotiating zone, just as the founding fathers set it up. It's there for a reason. It's meant to say to the government, hey, you can't touch this, all right? When you make laws, you can't touch these 10 things known as the Bill of Rights. All right? They're non-negotiable. Yet we see them try to infringe on the Second Amendment all the time. Once again, I digress. I'm going off topic. That's a whole other story. But rely on yourselves, people. Rely on yourselves. And carry a weapon with you. If you can legally do it, do it. That's my point. And the problem, before I end this, the problem with situations like this, it's not the gun's fault. It's not the gun's fault. That's number one. It's a society problem. It's society. How far we've fallen from what we were like back in the 40s and the 30s when people had more of a sense of decency. Now you see people looting out in daylight and places like California, New York, and other big cities throughout the country. We've fallen very far from how the country was when it was founded back in 1776 or 1789, whatever. And that's my point. We've lost our sense of morality as citizens, and that's something that we need to strive to get back to. That's my point. Braulio's out. I got a new mic because I want my audio to be a little bit better than it has been before. But Braulio's out, and I hope you get something out of this video. Something. If anything, don't trust the government with your best well-being. Do you think an almighty, all-powerful government that sends billions of dollars overseas and funnels it back to themselves through money laundering is going to have your best interest at heart at the end of the day? Think about that. Braulio's out.